I know this is like the minorest of minor trades that you can go out there and talk about, but this one's so funny that I feel like I needed to make a video about this. The Habs have traded Andrew Hammond to New Jersey in exchange for Nate Schnarr. That's it. It's a goalie for a forward, and none of these guys are particularly established, NHL superstars, but they do have some pretty interesting stories behind them. So, the reason the Canadiens traded away Andrew Hammond, pretty simple. Jake Allen's back, you have yourselves a goaltending tandem that is actually rounding itself out pretty well with Samuel Montembeault over there too. And so now that this goaltending setup is pretty much there, you have yourselves the flexibility to get rid of an Andrew Hammond who was only really brought in for relief, and albeit he did really well in that relief, he was 3-0-0, had a 9.20 save percentage and a 240 goals against in 4 games, which is honestly, astounding. He was the best statistical goaltender the Canadiens had this year by far, and it wasn't even close. Again, the sample size was small, but still, seeing the HAMBURGLAR over here doing his thing was pretty fun for Montreal Canadiens fans. Now, he's getting traded over to the New Jersey Devils, a team that really does need some goaltending help. You saw their Western Canadian road trip recently where you had Nico Daws and John Gillies as the two guys suiting up, and it really was ugly. They lost 6-3 against Vancouver, then they lost 6-3 against Calgary, and then they lost 6-3 against Edmonton in 3 straight games. Daws and Gillies are both not great at the moment, Gillies, of course, being the guy that everybody loves to go out there and blame, but right now, Andrew Hammond is going to be probably the best goaltender on the Devils when it comes to just reliability in net. Sure, sample size, again, he's only played 4 games in the NHL in the past, oh my goodness, the last time he played an NHL game was 4 years ago before this season, so again, you're probably not going to get yourself superstar #1 goaltending from Hammond that's Vezina caliber, but just being a little bit more reliable than John Gillies and Nico Daws is what you need right now if you're a Devils fan. In return, the Montreal Canadiens are getting themselves Nate Schnarr, a guy who's playing for the Utica Comets in the AHL and who's doing pretty well. 26 points, 43 games played. He's only 23 years old as a big right-handed center. He's not really a guy that I think is going to have the highest ceiling in the world. I see him more maxing out as a bottom 6 depth forward for the Canadiens if everything goes right, but just as extra depth for Laval, this is a pretty good pickup right here. The Utica Comets have been a very good team, and you see all the production coming from these players at the top of their lineup. Nate Schnarr is 7th on this squad, but I do think that point production metric is good enough for 4th on the Laval Rocket or something, so there you go, that's a boost for the farm team. Andrew Hammond was basically free in the first place, so this isn't really the biggest news in the world, but just with all the context of the Devils needing a goaltender and the Montreal Canadiens not really needing a goaltender anymore because Jake Allen is back, this move does make sense. It helps them out in Laval. It helps out the Devils too. But you can let me know in the comments all your thoughts about the Montreal Canadiens trading away the HAMBURGLAR for Nate Schnarr. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was Rolls 99, and bye.